Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nadine, aka Nia. If you're new, welcome. Nice to meet you. Make sure to subscribe and join the family. Today I am going to be talking about my experience through the mastery program, and I also have quite a few questions to answer that I asked on my Instagram. If anyone had any questions, let me know about what they want me to know about the mastery program and stuff. So we're just gonna go from the beginning. I'll do like a brief overview of each section and my experience, and then I'll go into the questions. So the main reason why I started the mastery program is because I wanted to learn how to use oil paints, and I also wanted to become a full-time professional artist, selling my own artwork and making a living off of it. I wanted to learn the marketing section, and I wanted to know what my artistic voice was. And it's kind of funny because I already thought I had found my art style, but it turns out it needed a bit of work. So going to the beginning of the course, I was very excited, obviously, because I felt like I had found the thing that was going to take me to where I always wanted to be, or to reach the goals that I had set when as a young kid, that dream of being a full-time artist, which I didn't know was actually possible until I found the course, the program. And I had never used oil paints before, and the fact that you could also buy the art supplies that you needed for each section really helped. So I brought the first section, the oil and drawing kit, and that was very, very exciting to open it all up and just feel like I was right on that journey. And that whole oil and drawing section, it was definitely a lot to process. There was a lot of information, a lot of new things that I didn't know, and a lot of things that I didn't necessarily enjoy, because I wasn't used to being in school anymore. I wasn't used to studying anymore in that kind of hands-on kind of way, and video lessons as well was new to me. So that was definitely a lot to take in and adjust to, but it was nice being able to follow it every single week, and I had a mentor at that point, so that helped in terms of not feeling alone on the course, and having the Facebook group page as well, that you can share your work and keep up to date with everyone who was starting at the same time as you. Was really nice to have that sense of community, and you did really feel like you was at school with people, which was great. And by the time it came to the mixed media section, I decided that I wasn't gonna continue on with a mentor anymore, because I wasn't necessarily using that feature that much. I wasn't really asking that many questions. Yeah, I just felt that I could continue on with my own. I think I would have preferred to have the mentor during the portfolio stage, just to help push me even more, but at that time I couldn't afford it, so I just decided, you know what, I'll just continue on my own. And by the time it came to the end of the drawing and the oil section, I kind of just was not into it. I knew for a fact that I wasn't an oil painter. It wasn't something that I necessarily enjoyed, and yeah, I just didn't enjoy oil painting. I didn't like all the different layers. I didn't like the having to wait for things to dry. I didn't like making traditional art. That's just not my thing. I didn't like the small details. I prefer to just get everything done quickly, well, just be really expressive and not have to focus on tiny details and going over things. So that was very difficult to not be able to express myself the way that I wanted to, but obviously I was very appreciative of learning the traditional styles and learning what the old masters did, and being able to appreciate how my favorite artists back in those times made art. It was very beautiful to know. Moving on to the mixed media section, that's when everything started to really break down, and it broke down who I was as a person, because I thought I knew quite a lot, but it turns out I didn't. And everything that I used to think was a flaw in my life before turns out that it was actually very important, and all the different jigsaw puzzle pieces started to get put together, and I really started to understand everything and understand my place in the world, understand my place in art, and the reason why I was making art, and the reason why I was attracted to the things that I was attracted to, and just learning to accept all of myself and everything that I never used to like before. It was actually a very beautiful thing that I didn't realize before, and every experience that I've had through my life all shows itself in my art in different ways, and being able to put words to the visuals just really like blew my mind, that I was always on the right track, I just never knew it. And that was the most beautiful part about the mixed media and voice section, and I love art history, and it reminded me of that, and that just warmed my poor little heart. So that was definitely a favorite section. It definitely a lot of theory, which was a nice kind of change as well, because I do love reading and I do love going in depth with things, but it was definitely a lot of introspection, and as an introvert I'm very, very introspective, so that's not always a brilliant thing, but to be able to have targets and keys and things that I can pinpoint, things that I can actually focus on, is a lot better than just aimlessly just being introspective and just going down that deep rabbit hole of life and thinking about things. It's good to actually have a reason why you're doing it and an end goal to it. So just a little tip. That's also when the time when I kind of started to slow down a bit, because all the time in my life I've always had points where I've always been doing something, I've always been working towards something. I've had so many different business ideas and stuff, and pursuing my dreams and goals and stuff, and when it gets to a point where it's starting to really get good, then I will do something to stop it, or something will happen to kind of pause it, and then I will just end the whole thing because I'm scared of success. So that was something that I struggled with throughout this mastery program, is that I just kept stopping and being overwhelmed with things, because I wanted to complete the program, but I didn't want to complete it because it meant that I would actually have to achieve something or be living that lifestyle that I've always dreamt of having, and it's just very, very scary. So I definitely had a lot of mental breakdowns and a lot of breakthroughs and things, that like walls that came up that I didn't understand until afterwards, looking back, and I'm like, oh, everything makes sense. So a bit of encouragement is just stick with it, don't give up, just keep going. And those kind of pauses always taught me something about myself, things that I can share with others to help them. One thing I realized is that it's not healthy to just only sit and paint and draw. You have to move, you have to get out the house, you have to exercise, you have to eat properly, look after your mental and your physical health. Otherwise you're not going to be able to do the best art possible. After the mixed media section, we moved on to portfolio and started working on all the pieces that I ever wanted to make, and I realized that I can make a lot of sources and be very, very excited about pieces, but if I'm not finishing them within that week or the week after, then I don't ever want to work on it ever again. So my brain and my excitement runs very, very quickly when it comes to art, and that left like a lot of unfinished pieces and projects that I would start. I'm brilliant at starting things, but ending them is completely other thing, and I definitely had to really push through that. It was kind of me questioning, am I a professional artist? Do I want to be a professional artist? Is this something that I will be able to continue to keep up with throughout the rest of my life and career? And it's something that I'm still questioning now, not necessarily saying, oh, I can't do it. It's more that you do have to put in that work and you do have to put in that time, but you have to do it consistently every single day, every single week. It can't just be one week I'm on fire and I'm turning up, showing up and putting the work in, and then the next week I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can. It's, you have to be consistent if you want to reach the points that you want to reach at. And when I was coming to the end of the program, I was definitely in the place where I kept taking breaks and I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do again. Is that self-sabotage thing of being afraid of succeeding. But now that I've completed it, I'm a week or two completed from the program. Yeah, 2 weeks completed, and I definitely have seen a huge shift in myself, that I am putting in the work consistently and being so much more on fire for things, and I think it also helps that I have a group art exhibition on its way in May, so that's just also give me something to work towards. And I think that's another thing that you should do, is to set yourself big goals and big targets, but also keep yourself accountable as well, and do that I think it's good to do that straight after you finish the course, because it will help you to keep that momentum until you don't need to have something like that to keep you motivated to continue to work. And one thing that I have learned, the most important thing that I've learned after it, is that you don't have to put pressure to make money from your art. Obviously that will come and it's a byproduct of that, but if you're doing it to make money at the art, you probably won't end up doing it. You should just put in any hour that you have where you don't need to do something else, to put it into your craft and to experiment and to have fun and to practice and to just do your very best with every hour that you have. That has really helped me to be consistent with my art. And when you just say, okay, I'm just going to put in that hour and just really do my best with the hour that I have during my day, then you end up just doing more than that anyway, and you end up refueling yourself so that the next day you're waking up earlier to get the art completed or do whatever task you want to do because you enjoy it and it's fun and that's what you want to do. But it depends on what your goal is. Some people, their goal is not to do art full-time, it's to be part-time and have an extra income, or just be better at doing art, or understand it more, or understand yourself. And I think they're all beautiful goals, and that's wonderful. My mindset definitely has shifted a lot during this year. So the whole portfolio section took a bit of time. I didn't do things as it was said, like do 2 things a week. I definitely did take longer than that, but that's because I was still growing as a person. So you can't rush your growing. If you're having growing pains, sometimes you do need to slow down a little bit, but it doesn't mean that you're not growing. So don't feel pressured to do everything within the year, but do your best to do it in the time frame that is set. And in that section there was less video lessons, so you were definitely felt a bit more on your own, and you felt a bit more like you're living your professional life now. So you implement all of the things that you've learned, and that was kind of nice, but it was kind of didn't really keep me in the loop too much, because I did feel like I was on my own and I didn't feel like I had enough of what I needed to be able to continue just yet. Now I do. Now I refuel myself with a lot of art. I read a lot of art magazines. I read a lot of interviews with other artists just to hear their insight, and it's not necessarily to know their process. I just really enjoy talking about art business and things, and I just find that really interesting, and hearing their experiences of how they set up things and how they run things in their day-to-day. I just find that really interesting, and that fuels me, and it just makes me feel like, yes, I'm not alone, and we all do this together, we all understand what's going on, kind of thing. So I'd encourage you to find artists that that inspire you, that you can interview maybe, or ask questions and read their interviews and stuff. It's really great. Then moving on to the last bit, which is the marketing section. That section I didn't really enjoy that much, but it's just more all the businessy technical things, and that's not why I didn't enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy it because it's less about making art, it's more about getting your art out there and the kind of things you have to do, and like building websites and marketing collateral and things like that, and it's all very, very important. So I'm not saying that it's not enjoyable, it's just a bit of a difference. It was great to launch a website, like build it and launch it. I do think I might do things a bit differently now that my website is up. My website is very, very much like me, very much like my artwork, very whimsical and ethereal and stuff like that. But I think I could make it a lot more simple and just more easy to navigate and less fanciful and just like, here's the information kind of thing. I don't know yet, I'm still thinking about that. But it's definitely a very, very important part of the program, and it's something that not a lot, if any, courses actually have that built in to any like degree or anything like that, where you get to learn how to find your own voice and how to market yourself as an artist. Because going out of art school, sometimes, most times, you just like learn all this whatever information that you learn, and then you're like, okay, now what do I do with it? So which direction do I go in? Do I go straight to galleries? Do I do my own thing, like self-promote? What do I do? So it's good to have all of that within this program.